beautiful sunny day on the other side of the mountains. Waking up. First little road trip in my new rig, Graceful Tracks. And let's see, where did I want to go? There's a lot of stuff that I could touch on, but you know, one thing that came out on this, kind of in a devotional and talking, points and everything else that I'm listening to and hearing, you know, how do I even start this? All this stuff, and this is, of course, targeted more in America, but I'm sure it's this way in other countries. There's a collective group of people that are constantly push me, pull you, to use an old term, going back and forth between what the world wants and what their devotional, what their instinct, what their whatever is telling them. And that group of people, you know, I mean, I'll say it like myself. I've never really belonged to a club per se. Congregation at church is one thing, but you know, at some point, if you frame your thinking and your reference into a certain group, that you still have to keep that in check. You find it in politics, you find it in social groups, you find it in a lot of different areas of your life. That's why I said this is going to be kind of a broad stroke, but actually it's the main paintbrush, okay? And it's the main paint stroke. There's some of us that want to go on to a way of thinking that follows a collective group, and one way or another. I don't care which side it is on politics, I don't care which side it is in religion, for your own personal encouragement and inspiration. But there's a collective group that is always struggling in this world. I'll say it that way. And that struggle can be real. That struggle is one that will go down a path and then realize, you know, it may have been a trend just for them, or it may be a trend that they get tired of and they don't want to follow anymore. And so I'm trying to rein this in so it makes sense. That collective group is a wide body of people, and they actually have like minds, okay? But to use a religious term, they have grace, and that grace, they're consciously aware of things like, and this too shall pass, okay? When things are getting rough, they're the ones that tend not to panic a mixed chaos. They still hold on to that they can organize what they have control over, or they can create a sense of order out of a chaos. But ultimately, and once again to use a religious term, it's because they have a deep awareness of a grace. And grace is what allows a person to realize that everything is going to be okay. Grace is a gift, whether you're a believer or not, a gift by the higher authority, a gift by God, that you have a lane which you drive in, a lane which you walk in. Should you decide to pull over, you have the grace to come back into the fold. You have the grace to come back into that center. It helps the mind, helps the body, helps the spirit, helps on all levels. You know, when you walk away from moderation to extreme, when you fall into that abyss, that ditch, that whatever it may be, that you have, that grace gives you that strength to pull out of it. Grace gives you the awareness that there is something better to live for, that there is something that has always been there. And that's where it takes time and experience to finally get into that positioning. And you could be even complacent to realize all of a sudden that you're just stagnant, that you are complacent in what you are living and doing. And that could actually be, for lack of a better term, one of the ditches that you didn't realize. He gave us that awareness for a reason, because we have free will. We are prone to falling. We are prone to following ideas, following people, following trends that time will end up putting a stop to. You know? Or realize that it's just a hype. I'll say it that way. Grace is always there to guide us. Given freely by a creator to understand the creation we live in. Here. That's kind of what I wanted to say. And I'm not sure why that came to my heart, but it did. And people need to be aware of it. You can follow, and we are so prone to the idols and the trends and everything else that go on in America, in our Western culture. But ultimately, within our lifetime, we will still come around to the understanding that it is a trend, or it is a collective hype that a group went off on to strive to be a better world, to strive to be a better person, whatever that reason may be, but ultimately to come back around to the realization that it's okay to follow, and it's okay to pull out when discernment tells you different, that this is not a good thing, that this is not a good road to be going down. Okay? And sometimes that discernment, that decision making, will go completely against the grain that you're following. Once you start to pull off on a road, it's hard to pull back on or find the entrance. I'll use a term like driving. It's hard to find that entrance to come back on. But grace gives you that ability. Whether you're gonna come back on an on-ramp, or whether you're gonna take that turn and 4x back up into the center, that goes without, that goes with the timing of it all. But to find that grace, you often need to have that shake-up in your life. My father used to say, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed is king. And that is a parable that is a reference to the fact that a lot of people tend to believe in something or someone that has just that little bit more foresight than the rest of us, but do understand that one-eyed king can be corrupt, can be totally wrong, can be totally off the beaten path himself. That for whatever reason you were teased or tantalized or drawn to it, you still have the grace within you to go, you know what, I'm not really liking this anymore. And you have the grace to pull back into a centerfold. That centerfold's love. That centerfold is all-encompassing, positive, embracing to your soul and your mind. And when things kind of get weird in your own personal life, use your discernment to bring it back into the grace, because it will help you. There, that's all I needed to say. I don't know how long this was, but hey, I've got nothing but love for you on this beautiful, sunny beginning of summer day, and hope that your journeys are graceful and grateful for the fact that you have that grace. And in my faith, I would say in Jesus' name. But I do want to say, I got nothing but love for you. Enjoy your day, whatever day that may bring.